Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about this news. It's been out for about a week now, but I haven't really given my thoughts on it, so I'm going to make talk about this and talk about some of the other Avatar news, Last Airbender news. Um, so if you didn't know already, Toph Beifong for the live-action series casting has been decided. They are casting. I'm sorry if I butcher her name. Maya. Chi. Chiz. Again, sorry, but so Maya has been casted as Toph Beifong, and so Maya is not a blind actor. Which really kind of disappointed me when I heard this announcement, because it seemed like from a couple of months ago when we made a video talking about this report that had come out that, there was a press release that Netflix was looking for an actor that could be in their mid to late teens that was blind. Um, and, I was really, really kind of upset about that. I was really discouraged because when you put out a press release and you say that they're searching for an actor that is blind or has low vision, maybe colorblind or whatever, and you come out and you publicly say, because there was a casting call, we covered this, there was an official casting call released by Netflix, and you say that we're looking for a blind actor and then you don't do it, that's really disencouraging, especially to people that do have disabilities. I'm like, come on. Like, you put out an open casting call and you say this is what we're looking for and this is what we want, but then you don't do it. It's really weird. It's kind of backwards, too, because obviously for voice acting, it's the opposite, and I have no idea why, because for voice acting, it should be the best person, because it's just voice acting, and Jessica Flowers, to me, I feel like should have been able to come back and be her character in the cartoon, but for live action, and I know people have been using this whole argument that, oh, well, they can't make it work in live action. That's bullshit. Okay, yes they can, they just don't want to. Okay, they have technology to do it. They have CGI, yada, yada, yada. They have all that stuff. Yes, they can do it. Enough of this crap that's saying that, with all those fight scenes and choreographies, that they wouldn't be able to make that work. That's the whole point of a stunt double, by the way, guys. Yes, they could have had a blind actor and it would have been just fine. And it's kind of a shame, especially since they made it seem like they were taking this seriously, and casting based on that. So that's my thing. And I'm not trying to, come on and be like, oh, to the actor, because I'm sure the actor is a good actor. I'm not trying to take anything away from her, but I'm saying, like, when you publicly say you're looking for a blind actor and you have a public casting call that Netflix puts out and says, this is what we're looking for, please submit at this email, and stuff like that about your information, about your blindness and all that stuff. To me, that's what they should have been looking for, and it doesn't feel like that they were really being serious about this at all. So I don't know that for sure. Maybe they did consider some blind actors in the running, because we haven't seen who the finalists were, but they'll probably never reveal that. But again, it does feel kind of disgenuine that the actor who was casted didn't have any type of disability traits whatsoever, whether being colorblind or whatever. And that's kind of the thing that kind of annoys me about this casting. Not the actor herself. I'm sure the actor's a good actor. I'm not trying to take away from this. From what I've heard, though, because they did say in the casting call that it would be a mid to late teens. She, I believe, is 17 years old, this Maya. So it does seem like they are trying to get actors that are older now because obviously they're in season 2. The people from season 1 are obviously a lot older than they were when they filmed the first season in 2021. For anybody who doesn't know, they filmed it in 2021, so the actors themselves are a lot older now. Apparently now also they are starting production as of a couple days ago. The Aang actor is going to be 15 like in a week. So he's right now 14. He's going to be 15 in a week. So they're obviously getting older. I believe the Katara actor is now 18. She was 17 this year. I think she just changed 18 recently. So the actors are getting older. But that's why I think they wanted Toph to be, not necessarily her canon aged when she's introduced in season 2, because obviously the main cast is now getting older, so they probably rather have a Toph that's a little older, and it probably can work for Toph anyways because, I mean, let's face it, Toph is, a tomboy, so I'm sure she could probably it be figured out anyways, but even so, they could still probably perceive her. I mean, I don't know what their plan is going forward with these characters because obviously the actors in live action, obviously they're not like cartoons. They get older. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what their plans are for this to explore that because obviously all the main cast from season 1 are going to look older than they did in season 1, right? Katara's going to look older. Aang's gonna look older. So I don't know what their idea is going to be like in terms of the reasons why they get older. I've suggested different possibilities on how they could make that work within the live action movie canon. I also want to just talk about this right now because there was a confirmation that season 2 will be about Earth and the season 3 will be about fire. Now, I've also suggested that what they possibly could do with this is, kind of split up book 2 into 2 different seasons and split up book 3 into 2 different seasons. Just kind of extend things out because it's an hour episode. A lot of people said, well, they didn't do that for Water, so why would they do that for the others? And I'm like, well, Water was the first season. It was no guarantee that they were going to get green-lighted for another season. So that's why you do that. There is still a possibility I think they could do it for Book 3, though. Because Book 3 about fire, I mean, you got Day of Black Sun, and then you got the finale, So I think they could possibly do 2 different seasons to get everything in and to get a proper build up for Zuko, because obviously Zuko goes through a lot in the first part of season 3 or book 3 before he finally then betrays his father and goes on and does the thing of helping Avatar Aang. And so I think season 4 could be covering the second part of book 2. So I do think that is a possibility if they're green-lighted for another season. I really hope for book 3 they don't try to cram everything together. But again, book 3 is ways away because to my understanding they are not working on book 3 right now. They are only going to be working on book 2. That is the production they're working on. So because of that, I am curious how they're going to handle things because, again, they're older now. I have been, like one of my theories and one of the things that has been thought of is the possibility of Day of Black Sun happening 3 years later, or it not being basically until Summer's End. Like in the cartoon, it was until Summer's End. You have to defeat the Fire Lord. Maybe in live action, they make it 2 or 3 years later. That way, there's an excuse to why the actors look older. You know what I'm saying? Because even though they're trying to make everything the same as Last Airbender, is obviously going to be a lot of, like, even though they're trying to make it as close as they can to the cartoon, there's obviously going to be different changes to it that they have to make for live action anyways. So this is one thing that I think they could do where I don't think it would hurt the storyline that much, um, by just, saying that, Day of Black Sun occurs 3 years from now. You have 3 years to learn all of the elements instead of, until summer's end, basically. Um, that's one of the things I could say to do. And then it also gives an excuse for the actors to kind of age, and, get older. Again, Aang's actress is going to be 15 in a week. So, you know, that is the way to kind of do it, because obviously I don't know what the grand plan end is. I from the understanding from the showrunner of season 1 is that they did show, signs. You couldn't really tell. He kind of actually explained it, when they asked about, Qatar and Aang, because obviously that was pretty much in season 1. They pretty much, cut that, for season 1, which was understandable at that time. But he did say that, he did show signs, but it was very subtle signs. So you had to really kind of understand it about Qatar and Aang's relationship. Um, and I look back at that and I was like, okay, I get what he's saying here. For anybody who doesn't know, I'll put the article in the description of what he was trying to explain. But and I've been saying this for a while. Aang Katara still is going, because they are still planning on doing it the same way it ended. But man, it's just so kind of weird, because it's like, obviously, the ages and stuff like that. It's just like, again, that's not like, because I was saying that I think they're gonna wait season 3 until, like, because, so if they're starting production right now on book 2, right now, okay, it's probably not gonna come out until, like, next year or the year after that. It's probably not gonna come out until season 2 is probably not gonna come out until 2026. They just came, because 2021 was when they filmed, and it didn't come out until 2024. So they're probably waiting until depending on, either at the end of next year, or it's going to come out early next year, or early 2026, or late 2025 is when I'm thinking it's going to come out, because they're starting production now on it. So that's my theory on when book 2's coming, because they're not going to work on book 3 right now. It's guaranteed that they're going to do it, but they're obviously going to do book 2 first, and they're going to probably wait to do book 3. So that's kind of where I think they could get around this. Again, by the time they get to the certain points that they need to get to, Aang's actor will probably be 18 by that point. And then, like, if they go to Korra, like, if they decide to do Legends of Korra, because that's what I think they're going to do. I think the plan is eventually to get to Legend of Korra, or maybe even adapt some of the comic books too, because obviously they could also, like, if they want to continue doing Last Airbender even further, even after, Fire Lord Ozai is done with, and Aang defeats him, right? They could adapt some of the comic books too, even though those were never adapted into cartoons. They could potentially do those too for live action, and tell some of the stories. Remember, they never ended up doing a book 4 for Avatar Aang, because they just wanted to end it right there. But there was consideration that they were thinking about doing a book 4 where they did a redemption arc for Azula. Remember? Maybe they try to, hold on to something like that, or try to adapt some of the comic books that were put out for, a season 5, if they decide for season 4 to be the rest of book 3. Because because that's what I think they should do. I think they see there's so much that they can adapt in. There's so much they can adapt into book 3. You know, whatever they decide, whatever book 3 gets released, book 3, you know, there's really two elements to it. There is the Zuko, you know, being with Azula, you know, and being back with his father. You know, there's that whole aspect. And then there's the second part of book 3 in the cartoon where he betrays them again and he joins up with Team Avatar. And I feel like book 3 for live action, there's so much they could flush out of that. There's so much you could flush out of that, and I think it could. I think book 3 in live action should be longer than just 8 episodes. That's how I think they should do it, and then possibly even do some of the comic books, and then maybe get to Legend of Korra whenever they get to that point. But yeah, that's where I'm thinking they should do it, because again, by the time we get all this, assuming that you know production it goes within like 2 years, because that's usually how Netflix releases seasons anyways and other shows. You know, I'm thinking it's gonna be 2020, early 2026. And by that point, he's gonna be Aang's actor's gonna be around, like by 2026. He's gonna be around 17. You know, when they get to that point. You know, so you know that's where I'm thinking. I'm thinking what the idea is I'm thinking the idea is trying to prolong it until he's 18. Because that's when they really get to the Katara Aang stuff. I mean, book 2 they really kind of started too. Book 2 they kind of started as well. You know, they tease it a little bit in book 1, but you know, obviously they didn't show that in book 1. But there were subtle stuffs apparently in the live action series that we didn't even really pay attention to, according to the showrunner. But in book 2, that's when it really kind of starts. But it's really book 3 is where it really gets going in the cartoon. So that's what I think they're trying to do. That's what I think they're trying to do. I don't know for sure, but that's just my guess right now. Because again, I've been saying this before, they have to make Aang and Katara, like, they have to be together because that's the only way Legends of Korra happens. Like, you can't do Legends of Korra without Aang and Katara being together, because the whole reason why the whole reason why Korra is able to be how she is because of Tenzin, who's Aang's son. Right? That because she was like, you know, Tenzin was kind of like Katara's mentor in a way. You know, and that was kind of the whole plot of the first book anyways, with Republic City and stuff like that. And he was like the only airbender too, right? Before they restored all the airbenders back. So that's really the only way you can make that work. That's why I keep trying to tell people is like, they're not going to change that. They're not changing Katara and Aang's relationship in this live action series. It's just that they're going to have to wait and spread it out. So Aang's actor is an adult by the time they get to that point. That's what I think they're doing. I think they're going to wait until he's an adult to get to that point. And that's why I think they casted Toph as being, like, the actor is 17. That's why I think they did that too, because even though Toph is younger when they introduce her in book 2 in the cartoon, it just makes sense to cast somebody older because, you know, all the actors are already getting older. You know, like Katara is already, I think, 18 now, but she was like 14 when they casted her, and you know, when they filmed her in season 1, the actor was actually 14, just like the character she was portraying. But now she's older, so now it's like, now you kind of have to figure that whole aspect on. That's where I think they're trying to figure this out. So that's how I kind of look at this. How I look at this, how they're handling Avatar. It's much harder because again, you got cartoon characters that are being portrayed as kids in live action, and obviously, kids get older, and it's not a cartoon where you can just stop time. Basically, that's not how things work in the real world. So that's kind of where I'm trying to figure out what they're gonna do, because like you have to, like I said, like you have to make them older in the series. You have to. Like I don't see a way unless they're, I don't, because you can't really get away with it. Really, you can't like. They're gonna get older. The appearances change and stuff like that. It just to me it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. So that's why I say Day of Black Sun in the live action series should be changed to like 3 years. So that way they have 3 years to defeat Fire Lord Ozai instead of 1 year or until Summer's End. So that's my theory. Let me know what you guys think about this. What do you guys think about the Toph announcement? What I said in the beginning of this video. How do you think they're going to handle season 2 or book 2 and book 3? And do you think they'll split up book 3 into 2 different seasons if they greenlight for a season 4? Let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate, if you like this video, my videos, please subscribe, hit the notification bell for the latest content. And that is about it. I am the Ultimate Goku. I'm out of here. Peace. Also, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Twitch, the Instagram, and also Discord and link Discord in the description. We talk about various topics, including this very one about Avatar. And also, make sure to go to my YouTube tier list, where we have a lot of perks. And that's about it. I'm the Ultimate Goku. I'm out of here. Peace.